guys! Welcome po sa aming vlog. So guys, for today's vlog, we're supposed to do our, anniversary week special, but we are receiving so many questions regarding sa black fungus. How was the black fungus here in India? Because I think na news siya sa Philippines na aside from COVID, may black fungus na kumakalat dito sa India. So we're safe naman guys kasi nakikita nyo nagbe-video kami. We're safe from COVID at the same time from black fungus. So thank you so much po for always asking. We really appreciate you guys kasi alam mo yun, aside sa family namin, yung mga subscriber, even though we don't know you personally, you are very much concerned about us here in India. Not just to me, to my also fellow Filipina who are living here in India. So what is black fungus?
Well, I don't know the medical term. It's mucormycosis or something like that.
Meron siyang medical term.
I put it over here. So, this is it's not new. This has been there forever, since a very long time. And this is not something that came up now. What happens is it's an airborne fungus.
It's airborne ever since. For a long time.
It's been there for a long time. Now, it might even be in this room, right? It's very possible. And it is typical of India because our soil and our plants have this, mainly our soil, has this sort of fungus here. So, it's more commonly there in India. So, it's in the Indian subcontinent. There are neighboring countries as well who could possibly have this fungus. Now, how the fungus works is you inhale it, mouth or nose, and it goes and sits in the sinus cavity, that's somewhere here. And what happens is when it is there within a living host, which is a living being, it goes and eats up kills the living cells around it and turns those cells black. But this one is specifically what it does. It changes that organ whichever got affected. It changes that organ. It kills the cells and makes it black in color. So that is how it gets the name black fungus, right? So see, the thing is, all of us inhale it. If you visited India, you are also going to be inhaling it probably, right?
So in other countries there's no like that?
It is, but it is most available here because of the seasonal geographical region, right? Now, the problem with this fungus is that it kills the living cells around it, right? And so that it goes into your nose. So the first set of organs that will get affected are your ENT, your nose and throat.
The first doctor you should visit is ENT, right?
Correct. So that is the first region that gets infected, right? So your ears, your entire ear canal inside that goes to here on both sides, your nasal cavity and your throat, right? So this is probably where it is. That is where it's doing the first entry. Yeah. Sorry for the camera shaking. My little madam is
playing with it,
and big madam is just watching. So. Now the thing is, the only way to get rid of it once it goes into your body, and if that particular organ is already affected, there's no way to cure the organ because the organ is dead. So you have to cut it off. So yes, really. So if it goes into your eye, then you need to just simply remove the whole eye. Now the risk, or the very fatal risk with this, is that it can spread extremely quickly, and you should stop it by cutting off the organ before it goes to your brain. The moment it goes to your brain, you're as good as dead. There are, as far as I've read, 50% fatality if it goes to your brain, right? Now, why doesn't it happen otherwise? Now, the thing is, for COVID patients, why it's happening more frequently now is that for COVID patients, for COVID-19, we don't really have any medication as of today. There's no medicine as such
for COVID,
right? Now, when COVID first hit, the whole world tried to start. Based on which parts of the body the COVID was infecting, the medical research teams and the doctors, they started experimenting. They gave this, they gave that, to see which one will work, because they don't have anything, right? And the speed of COVID spread was so fast that they did not have the time to research and get the right medicine out, right? So the kind of medicines that were most effective against COVID were steroids, clinical steroids. So most patients, even till today, across the world, they get clinical steroids for treatment of COVID. Now, one of the side effects of clinical steroids is it completely wipes out your immunity. Your immune cells your immunity in the body gets really affected because of steroids, right? So at that point in time, if you'll see in the news, most of the black fungus patients are those who have recovered from COVID, right, or are still there from recovery, right? So clearly it indicates that because of the fact that they
intake steroid.
They have taken steroids and literally ruined their entire immunity. That is where the fungus hits, because it's in there in the air and it's spreading. It's if see, there could be one fungus, it's called a fungal spore. That's what it is called when it is in the air. So there may be one in this room. Okay, but
even if we inhale it, since we're not sick, we're not taking any medication,
and we have immunity, a decent
we
amount
have
of immunity.
decent amount of immunity. We can easily kick it out. It's nothing to worry, guys, because as long as you're not sick,
So what reduces immunity? Well, other than COVID-19, what else reduces immunity drastically is if you are in the same place for a long time. Like a person who has been, even a regular, not a COVID patient, but a regular patient who has been hospitalized for a long time, their immunity also goes low. So immunity basically gets boosted the more you move around. Okay, if you're in the same position, sitting and doing nothing all day, your immunity goes down. Literally, this is the actual reality, right? So, which is why it is always, which is why being physically active has super duper number of advantages, right? So anyway, coming back to the point. So, in this room, let's assume there's one black fungus spore. Okay, so if I inhale it, if I'm a COVID patient, if my immunity is big time compromised, then what happens is in me this virus is going to grow, and as I keep breathing.
But it's okay, love, as long as once you have the symptoms, you go to a hospital. You don't need to remove your eye. You don't need to just take the medicine, right?
As long as that particular organ is not killed yet. Yeah,
as long
the
as
problem with this fungus is that you cannot detect it as a black fungus problem
because the
very
symptoms is
early.
always same. All the same, right? Even in COVID, same symptoms as cold and cough, mga ganyan.
So you can't make out that it is black fungus. So you'll just sit at home saying that, okay, I'll observe for 1 more day, I'll observe for 2 more days, and by that 2 more days or 1 more day, that organ inside will be murdered.
Pero actually, may gamot talaga siya. There is really medicine.
There are. You can treat it. It's not something that we cannot treat. Yes, we can treat it. It's a fungus. Ultimately, it's a fungus. We know how to kill fungi. But it's not the I mean, what am I saying? The danger is not that the fungus is in your body. The danger is that your organs are getting killed. So before an organ gets fully damaged, you need to go and kill that fungus with the right medication. If you cross that time, then there's nothing that can be done to help. Right? So many of the COVID patients, many of them have died not because of COVID, but because of black fungi. Black fungus. Yes, many of them have died.
Actually, guys, I read also in some part of India, diba, in the world it is already pandemic. In some place here, they call their state epidemic with this black fungus because in some area there's a lot of cases already. Because once those under medication, those diabetic patients, those cancer patients, those are their immunity is very low. So talagang sila yung pinaka-target.
And generally, if anyone is hospitalized for a long time, their immunity also will be very low. So,
but if you are like once you get some symptoms like bleeding nose, some part of the nose is getting dark,
or if you're diabetic, if it is uncontrolled, that is, even if you're taking insulin or if you're taking your medication for diabetes and still the sugar levels are not coming down as normally it's supposed to, that is also an indication of black fungus.
But there is test like you need to take in your blood like that to see.
I'm not sure exactly how they test black fungus. I haven't read about that, but obviously there is a way. I do remember, yes, they take CT scans of the organs to see what is the extent of the damage. So the CT scan shows that the fungus is there, like that. And then we also have something called white fungus. I don't know what white fungus is, but
they say it's much more scary, much more stronger like compared to black fungus because it targeted your lungs like that kind of thing. And in one place here, black fungus, guys, marami na siyang cases sa iba-ibang state ng India. There is already in UP, Bihar, many places, many. Here in Bangalore, I think there are some, but we're not yet what I'm tagged as epidemic regarding black fungus. So there is one state, Bihar, there is already 4 cases of white fungus, which they say is much, much scary. But like what I say, there is a medication as long as once you
diagnose it early.
Yeah, once you diagnose
the
it early.
suspicion should be early, the diagnosing should be much early, as early as possible, and that should sort it out.
Yeah, it will be
Generally,
sorted out
yeah.
with some medication. So,
See, basically the bottom line is to summarize. If you go back to history and see, from the time of around 1900s, we are starting to enter, or rather we are, sorry for the camera shaking, we have a little baby, wanting to be a cameraman. So, starting from the 1900s, if you actually read about it, there are many new diseases coming. Time after time after time after time. Not that some of them are not new, they've been there before, but then the way that humans are getting infected, the way that humans are being infected now with those same things that it didn't happen before, right? So the way it is getting, we human beings are getting infected is increasing, right? So the kind of diseases, illnesses, deficiencies, syndromes, everything is going up. We are going into a world filled with diseases. Okay, so
sadly,
it's
as the new experiment come, new diseases come. It's like that.
So we don't see, and some of the contributing factors to that is because of the kind of food that we eat. Before, if you see your ancestors, our ancestors, there was nothing called processed foods. There was nothing like that. They ate natural food. They ate natural vegetables, natural fruits, natural pulses, grains, everything like that, right? Most of it was natural. There was nothing artificial, there was no processed foods, there was nothing really like that. But now, starting with the Industrial Revolution, which essentially happened in the 1900s, we have processed foods, we have preservatives, we have all that kind of stuff. Of course, what do you expect? That is not natural. The human body was not made to non-natural food. I mean, we've not been made like that, right? We are natural beings. So, the only weapon we have against all these diseases that we are maybe going to hit, but we are surely going to be hit. Okay, there's no escaping that. You are living on planet Earth. There's no way to escape it, right? So the only way to escape it is what? No. What is the only way to escape? Or what is your only weapon in the future world that's coming up? In this crappy, diseased world that we are entering into, that we and our kids are entering into, what is our only weapon?
Immunity.
Good health.
That's what I say.
Good all-round health. Okay, so let go of your junk food eating habits. Even we eat junk food, and I'm preaching to the choir here, but yeah, okay. But let go of eating junk food. Let go of your bad habits. Stop being lazy and lethargic. Become more active. None of them which we follow.
None of them we follow.
And yeah, so it's high time that we started doing all this. We meaning all of us, including us, right? It's high time we all started doing all this, because if we don't, then we will pretty surely end up having problems. Pretty sure, right? So that's the world we live in. And the thing is, even if you eat natural stuff, okay, not the preservative, not the ones with preservatives, not the ones with the processed foods and all that, still the quality of food now has come down drastically as compared to before, right? I mean, whatever that you buy, your pulses, your grains and this and that, still they are preserved. We eat fruit jam, we eat pasta sauce, we eat many of those, right? And many of them could be considered home food, but still, even though it is home food, it is still preserved. It's still coming from a processing factory, right? So we are consuming to some extent unhealthy food as compared to my parents, as compared to my grandparents who never had that. When they wanted chili powder, what do? They'll take fresh chili from the market, dry it in the sun, make it dried red chili, and then take a stone grinder, and actually make red chili powder. That's what they used to do. We don't do that, right? So and the red chili powder that we get packed in the packets, how sure are we that it is 100% red chili powder? How sure are we that there is no preservatives added in there so that it should not spoil, for example, because it's packed? So what's the guarantee, right? So did you hear what I'm saying? Because she was inside the kitchen for a while, right? So what I'm saying is that the quality of our food, whatever we get now, has gone down drastically as compared to the times of my parents and my grandparents. So even if you eat all natural food, even if you eat home cooked food, there are still chances of you not chances, but you can still consider that you're actually taking in unhealthy food to some extent. So the only way is to minimize it as less as possible, minimize the bad stuff as less as possible, right? That's your only weapon against what is coming.
Only into black fungus or already there?
Well, I'm giving them some, what I keep preaching to you, man. Are you going to be unhappy
So-
that I told you all this everything else after I told about the black fungus? Please comment it so I can yeah, all yours.
So yun guys, thank you sa mga concern.
No. Okay. Thank you. We're safe.
We're
By God's
safe.
grace.
By God's grace.
And by overacting.
Yeah.